hope everyone's ready for the ice storm. It's on its way. I wanted to set up this video. It's about Susan Smith, Susan Anderson Smith, a sweet lady, a grandmother. I know someone that knew her and said that she was very sweet, very kind. She loved flowers, and she started out in North Georgia, ended up in West Tennessee. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this video. Stay tuned towards the end of it. There's information about her obituary and her family, a little bit more, and some more pictures, real pictures of the family. Hope you enjoy it.
Meet Susan Anderson Smith. The life of Susan Mathilda Anderson Smith was a testament to the quiet strength required to build a family across 2 centuries. Her story, rooted in the red clay of Georgia and blooming in the city of Memphis, is one of tireless devotion and domestic mastery. Susan was born on June 5, 1870, in the Shakerag district of Cherokee County, Georgia, to Anderson and his wife Martha. Growing up in a household lit by the soft glow of kerosene lamps, she learned the rhythmic labor of a frontier-style life from her mother. Around 1884 in North Georgia, Susan married Charles Thomas Smith, a man who worked the earth as a farmer and shaped the world as a carpenter. By 1900, they owned their farm in the Little River district. In an era where survival depended on the land, Susan mastered the art of the harvest. She spent her summers and autumns over a hot wood-burning stove, preserving food to ensure her family would not just survive, but thrive through the lean winter months. The Smith farmhouse was a place of constant growth and labor. In a time when medical facilities were a distant luxury, Susan's home served as her maternity ward. Between 1885 and 1908, she gave birth to all 8 of her children within those walls. Likely attended by local midwives or kin, she raised them to adulthood, instilling in them the value of an education, despite the physical demands of rural life. Their children were Thomas Cleveland Smith, 1885-1963, Fred Charles Smith, 1893-1943, Cleo Jeanette Smith Johnson, 1893-1932, Pauline Smith Johnson, 1895-1975, Amanda Smith Hill, 1898-1957, Lloyd Rivers Smith, 1900-1968, Henrietta Smith Ballou, 1904-1986, Ella Bell Smith Sherrill, 1908-1968. The family sought new horizons sometime before 1910, when they moved to Shelby County, Tennessee. They settled in the Raleigh area, north of Memphis, where Charles worked until his death on May 1, 1936, from a chronic heart condition. Susan remained the family's steady anchor, later living with her son, Lloyd, on McLemore Avenue, before returning to the Raleigh-Frazer Road area in her final years. On December 10, 1950, Susan's long journey ended at Baptist Memorial Hospital at the age of 80. Her heart, which had endured the labor of a 19th-century farm and the birth of 8 children, finally slowed due to hypertensive cardiovascular disease. She was laid to rest at the historic Elmwood Cemetery in Memphis next to Charles. Her headstone bears the simple, cherished title, Grandma, a final tribute to the woman who birthed a legacy and preserved a family through the changing tides of a century. Here is a transcription of the newspaper obituary from 1950. Mrs. Susan Smith, who moved to Memphis in 1902 and had lived in Raleigh, Tennessee since 1918, died at 9:20 a.m. yesterday at Baptist Hospital, where she was admitted Friday. She was 84. Born in Cherokee County, Georgia, Mrs. Smith came to Memphis with her husband, the late C.T. Smith, who was associated with Harstick Heating Company here for many years. They moved to a farm in Raleigh about 1918. Mrs. Smith reared 9 children of her own, 6 of whom survive. She also reared 5 grandchildren in her home, and at the time of her death 2 of them were still making their home with her in Raleigh. Her children and grandchildren were her great interest in life, and she was particularly proud that they all were reared in the Baptist church and have continued active in church work through the years. She was also very fond of flowers, and although she had been in ill health about 14 years, had continued to have a beautiful flower garden each year. She leaves 4 daughters, Mrs. W. F. Johnson, Mrs. J. L. Ballou, and Mrs. Ann A. Burnett of Memphis, and Mrs. W. B. Sherrill of Raleigh, and 2 sons, L. R. Smith of Raleigh and T. C. Smith of Memphis. 14 grandchildren, and 14 great-grandchildren. Services at 2 p.m. tomorrow at Thompson Brothers Mortuary. Reverend L.C. Holcomb and Reverend Ira C. Cole officiating. Burial in Elmwood. State of Tennessee Certificate of Death. Funeral Director, Thompson Brothers Mortuary, 257 Adams Avenue. If you are interested in more on this family, there is a companion video story on her grandson Jack Clifford Holland. See the comments for a link. Thank you for watching.